The best business exits are sold from positions of strength, not at times of necessity. In this video, I'll be giving you the 5 signs that you should be looking for to see whether it's the right time for you to exit your business so you can get maximum value from your business sale. Before I give you the signals of strength, let me share some of the reasons I hear from business owners that they want to sell their business, and these are not good signs, and therefore they hurt the value of the business exit. Some of these reasons go from the business is performing badly in terms of revenue or profit. The other reason, and this is the biggest one, is that the business owners are overworked and they don't know what to do on how to free themselves from their business. So they think that a business exit is the right option for them. And I can tell you right now that that business is ultimately unsellable. From that position, normally we look at business owners are either heavily discounting their businesses to just get rid of them, or they're actually just having to shut it down. So that's one of the worst reasons why a business owner might want to sell their business. And the one about overworking normally happens when key employees leave the business. So business owners don't know what to do next, how to recruit talent fast enough, or the right talent to replace the key individuals that have left. And I've got videos on this channel which talk about key man risk. So you can go and watch them to ensure that key man risk can never affect you in your business at any time, and how you can put measures into place to ensure that your business can survive any key man issues. Now, these last 2 reasons why I see business owners want to sell their business, they're unavoidable from a business perspective. It could be a change in family circumstances, and the 2 biggest ones that I see is a health reason. So maybe they've been diagnosed with cancer, or there's some other big illness that has affected you as a business owner. At that point, really, unless you've already done the preparation work, there's really not much you can do, depending on how bad a state you're in, to mend the situation. Because if unfortunately you're in that position where you have had a really bad health situation and you need to sell your business right now, there's nothing else that you can do to hold on to it, then that's what you have to do. Remember, health comes first. Business can always be won again, money can always be made, but you can never get your health back. And the other one is divorce. This one is normally a slightly longer situation that you can get out of, which is a positive thing, because the more time you take to ensure that your sale goes through, or the more time you can prepare your business for sale, the better impact you can have. And divorce is something that can be managed, unlike the health situation. First signal of strength of when you should be thinking of selling your business is when your revenue and profit has been increasing for the last couple of years. Now, on this channel, if you watch some of the videos, I always talk about that business buyers are looking at your accounts for at least 3 years, right? Sometimes more than that, but they're looking at your account for at least 3 years. So if you can show a growth in your revenue or your profit, whether that's gross profit or operating profit, then that is a very positive sign. Now, you might be thinking, why am I going to sell my business if my revenue is growing or if my profit is growing? It really comes down to your personal reasons. If you want to continue riding that wave and you've got years in that industry, in that business, and you've got no plans of exiting for a personal reason, then you should continue with business. But if you've got a personal reason of why you want to exit your business, whatever that personal reason may be, and you think, right, actually, this business is growing, but I've got a personal reason for exiting, and I think I can capitalize on that growth right now. And the growth will ensure that you get a good value for your business as well. That's a very positive sign of selling your business, because especially now, this is the best growth that you can show. If you've got a growth plan in place, so let's say you've got a 5-year business plan in place and you're in year 3 of that 5-year business plan, and you can show that because of that plan, the business is growing, and for personal reasons, you want to exit at year 3, you'll be able to get a huge value, a good multiple for your business exit, because you can demonstrate that your plan is working and your plan still has a few years ahead of it before it gets to the stage that you need to develop a new plan. And that is an extremely positive sign for a business buyer. They're going to love that, and they will pay you for it if you find the right buyer. So growing profits and growing revenue is a very positive sign. So the second sign is that the business does not revolve around you as the founder or the owner, or any of the owners if there are multiple owners in your business. I talk about this hugely. So the owner vacation test is a massive thing that we do with our clients, is that to ensure that the business can run without the owner if the owner was to go on to a long-term vacation. The owner vacation test is something that we run with all of our clients, and I do that for my own businesses all the time. So we put it through particular tests, stress tests, to ensure that the business can continue without the owner. There's two elements of the owner vacation test. One is that the business doesn't collapse, and the other one is that the business continues to grow. There are two different types of vacation results that you look, or owner vacation test results that you're looking for. So when you do the test, you're looking for one of those two things. If you pass the test, great. Your business is exitable and buyers will pay you good money for your exit. So that's a very good sign. And remember, when we're going through these 5 signs, if you can group all of these together, or at least a few of these together, then that's going to increase the exit multiple that you're going to be receiving. Now, if you're looking to exit your business and you want to see all of these signs, and you want to work with someone who does this on a regular basis, click the link in the description and we can go over your business to see whether it passes on a vacation tests and to develop the signs, because all of these 5 signs can be developed over time to ensure that you can achieve a valuation that you deserve on your business. The reason why you want an independent business is because you're selling a business, not a job, right? In the very small micro business market, people are essentially selling jobs, right? What they're selling a business, but the business is actually a job for the owner, right? The one who buys it is going to be working in the business. They're going to be an owner operator. And that's why the valuations on micro businesses are essentially nothing. All those businesses are vehicles for owners who want to get into business, or people who want to get into business and they want to hit the ground running as opposed to starting from scratch. That's the only thing the really small micro businesses are good for. But if you've got a good business, a mid-market size business, and starting from about 500,000 profit and above, then you need to make sure that the business can run without you, because selling an owner-operated business will always be discounted, regardless of the growth and regardless of the plan and the trajectory and the history of the business. They're always going to be discounted purely because the owner's involved. So you really want to get yourself out of the business before you sell it, so you can achieve that great value. So if you are an owner operator in a mid-sized business, then of course you just need to make sure that you're selling a business and not a job or a glorified job. The third one is outside of your business control, as in what you can do inside of the business, but it's something that can be controlled in terms of timing. And that is what is happening in the economy as a general rule. So if the economy is growing, and especially your industry is growing, so if you're in a hot industry, then timing your exit is going to be very critical. So if you're able to exit when there are, for example, a couple of business players who are acquiring businesses and doing tuck-ins and doing add-on, bolt-on acquisitions, then having your exit in that time is going to be very valuable. Because if there's only one player in the marketplace, they can discount your business purely because, oh, you've got a great business, but who's going to be able to buy it from you? We're the only people who can buy it from you, and therefore we want to pay you this price. When you've got a few players out there who are acquiring and doing tuck-ins and bolt-ons, then that is just going to create a right time, along with great economies and low interest rates. All of those things are going to play a part in how much you can achieve from your business exit. And again, if interest rates are low, then what that means is that private equity and other buyers, they're able to borrow money at lower interest rates, and therefore they can ultimately pay you higher. Because when you buy a business, they're looking at something called debt service coverage ratio. And as long as your business can demonstrate a high debt service coverage ratio, then they might end up paying you more just because they've got that breathing space. So interest rate timing is something which your central bank controls. You don't control that, but you can wait until that time. And when that time comes, then it could be a great place of selling your business. And especially if you can pair that up with a couple of different buyers competing for your business, which is the 5th point. Might as well go into the 5th point as the 4th point now. Point number 4, sign number 4, is that you've got multiple buyers who are acquiring in your marketplace, in your industry. That is going to be a great situation, because the more competition you can create around your business, the more that they're going to bid on your business, like an auction style. In auctions, they raise up the paddle and they say, right, I want to offer this much, I want to offer this much, I want to offer this much. And like an auction, the price goes higher and higher. So creating competition in the marketplace with multiple buyers who are able to complete on the deal, that is going to be a great sign as well. So if you pair 3 and 4 together, I was going to make that point number 5, but pair 3 and 4 together, meaning it's the right timing in the economy and in the marketplace to sell a business because interest rates are low and there's good competition in the marketplace, paired with good number of buyers who are competing on your business, that is going to increase the amount that you can achieve on your business exit. And that's taken into consideration that your business does fit the narrative. And that's why you really need to build a narrative around your business. It's not a science, so we're not going to go through that in this video, but I've spoken about that in other videos on how to create your business as a sellable business. The fifth sign that you need to look for whether it's the right time to sell your business, I was going to make this the fourth, but it's the fifth now, is that your business is overachieving everyone in your marketplace, and you've kind of sort of reached a lot of your personal goals with regards to that business. So personal goals means that you've achieved the maximum amount of output that you can achieve for your business. So if you've taken the revenue to the highest level that you can, and for example, there's only been slower growth for the last few years. So let's say in the earlier years, you were able to achieve 20% plus year-on-year growth. And now maybe growth has slowed to, for example, 6 or 7%, and your industry is maybe growing at 5%. You're still above industry, but it's grown. The growth has slowed from 20% earlier to 6 or 7% now. Still showing above industry average growth, but it's slower than what you were achieving before at 20% plus year on year. So that's also a sign that you've taken your business to a certain level that you can't achieve more than that. Because sometimes when you sell your business, especially to private equity, they have access to capital and tools that maybe you don't have access to. So therefore, you are at the top of your game in terms of whether you can take the business, but you can give it to someone else and they can take the business to the next level. The other sign, which is kind of linked to that, is that if all of the other businesses in your industry or your local market is achieving sort of half of what you're achieving, and you're achieving double from what they're achieving, but the growth has been kind of like very slow for the last couple of years, but there has been growth, then that's a great sign. Because when you're talking to a buyer, an investor, you can say, look, everyone in my industry is achieving X revenue and X profit, and I'm achieving double, right? So I can show you that I'm overperforming the marketplace. Therefore, my business is a great, valuable business. And I think with your expertise and your investment and your tools that you have access to, you can take it to even further levels. So that's a great sign that you should be looking for. So in summary, the main signs that you should be looking for is growing revenue and growing profits. The second is that the business can operate and run without you. The third is that the economy and the marketplace is showing great signs and opportunities for business sales and business exits to be achieving high valuations. Number 4 is that you create competition in the marketplace by having a good number of buyers in the marketplace. And number 5 is that the growth that you're achieving is kind of sort of, you've met the ceiling of what you can achieve. And only on someone else's hands that can go to the next level. Now, so if you've got at least 2 of these signs, I would say that it's a great time for you to exit or start thinking of a business exit if that's on your table, right? Now, if you don't want to exit your business, so let's take a look at the last one. If you've got to the ceiling of what you can achieve, one of the easy things that you can do is that you can hire talent who is, coming from a business which is one step higher than you are. So businesses, they're in sort of stages, right? So first you've got your micro business to startup. Then that goes to a small business size. From small business, you go to lower middle market, you go to mid market. And they're all levels of where you're taking your business. Like, for example, when you go from small business to lower middle market, that essentially means that you've got a layer of management that needs to come into the middle, right? So hiring that management, and what that does to your business, obviously you've got to get talent in, which is quite expensive. But what you're doing is that you're paying for that growth, right? You're paying for that talent so they can grow the business for you. And you'll essentially learn a lot of things. Because you don't want to exit, you're going to be learning from the employees that you hire because they're very expensive or good talent that you're bringing in. And equally, when you go from lower middle market to sort of mid market, then there's other talent that you need to bring in, sort of executives, which you're paying definitely in the 6 figures salaries. And that's when you bring them in. So it really depends what your personal goals are. But as long as you've got 2 or 3 or all of these signs in your business, then that means that you can exit a business for a good valuation. Typically, when we work with clients, we work people out of the business. So we do operational exits and strategic exits. So we ensure that owners are no longer working in their business, and they may be working on their business or even independent of their business. So that's what we do, working with our clients. And of course, we can create competition in the marketplace for your business. So if you're a UK business and you're looking to exit, click the link in the description and we can have a confidential conversation about your business exit and continue watching videos on this channel.